Yo guys, what is going on? Got some 1.5 gameplay for you guys. I am playing a very spicy deck, a very fun deck. I am playing a green version of Imperialdramon, and my opponent is actually kind of playing the same thing. It's almost a mirror match, but his deck is more so focused on, I think his is more mixed because he's playing blue cards as well, and his is more focused on the blue Imperialdramon, where mine is focused on the virus version. Just hitting your opponent with multiple attacks with piercing is just super powerful. So this is 1.5 format, and I'm super excited to play this. By the way, you will see the HPD, the hidden potential discovered, in my hand there. I am playing with the restrictions in place, like post-ban list, restriction list, whatever you want to call it. So I'm only playing one HPD, and I think I'm only playing one Argomon level 5 if I'm even playing it at all. I'm pretty sure I'm playing it, but I think we see Blossomon more than in this game. Anyways, so my opponent got set up with the Wormmon there as well as the Woodmon. I didn't open like the best because I opened like a lot of rookies, and then you'll see the Dino Bee as well as the Blossomon there. Got the HPD, but nothing to like proc it off of, so I'm thinking at this point, if I don't draw a champion, I might just have to like hard play Dino B or something, but I don't know, so we'll see. So my deck is just focused into going into the Virus Imperialdramon, resting your opponent's Digimon with effects like, I might be playing Lilymon. I'm also playing the, not Flower Cannon, but the one with the Hercules Copetary on the front. I think it's called like Giga Blast or something, the 3 cost where you get to rest one of your opponent's Digimon or 2 of their Digimon with 5,000 or less. Anyway, so my opponent is going to go Bancho Stingmon, which is a very powerful card. If you don't know what Bancho does, he has the ability where if he's attacking something with 12,000 or more DP, he gets Security Attack +2 and gains like 7,000 attackers. It's like, it's ridiculous. So he goes up to 16k. Normally, he does have Piercing also, by the way. So normally you kind of like want to wait on that until you are countering one of your opponent's Digimon. Maybe an Omnimon or maybe something like most level 7s, or I mean maybe if they're playing like a 12k level 6, but it was interesting that he decided to go for it anyways, especially base power 9,000 is not very strong. I did end up just went ahead and played the Dino B there. Dino B is super good because he's a level 5 that has both jamming and piercing. No inherited, but that's not the biggest deal because you're just trying to swing with security, and you can also attack over pretty much any blocker in the game, any level 4 blocker, because he is 7,000. Unless your opponent's playing like Gardevoir or something. But so yeah, he's super good, and then the jamming of course works well with Imperialdramon. And then he also gets to reduce the cost of Imperialdramon by 2. If you have Dino B or Imperialdramon, becomes a 3 cost instead of a 5. So we are going to see the Argomon level 4 there on the Wormmon, which I thought was interesting, especially because you typically want to resolve Wormmon's effect. He does have a very good on deletion effect, which allows you to excavate the top 3 cards, and I believe it's add a 4 or 5 to your hand among those. And anyway, so my opponent is going to swing with the Bancho, a little bit risky, but you know, there's no level 7s in this deck, and so maybe he made the call that, you know, 9,000 is big enough. He is actually going to go Imperialdramon also, which is super cool because it gets rid of the whole like downside of using something like Argomon or Blossomon, is that the fact you have to suspend your own Digimon, and Imperialdramon just makes everything with jamming active or unsuspends them. So he's able to unsuspend himself. He's got a 12,000 jamming Digimon on field that can attack, not multiple times because he doesn't have the Imperialdramon, but regardless, it's still powerful. Now, I did actually draw into my copy of Imperialdramon, so I'm going to actually just use Hidden Potential Discovered, and this is why he kind of, I don't know, I don't think it was the best move to go Bancho right off the back, because now I'm going to be able to go to my Imperialdramon, and this guy has piercing, and once per turn, whenever he deletes something, you get to unsuspend him. So I'm going to delete his Bancho, run over it, check a security, also going to rest the Ken. Ken allows you to gain a memory anytime one of your Digimon kills something in battle, so that's super sweet. Works very well with Imperialdramon. That I'm going to unsuspend him. I do have the opportunity to attack again, and I'm going to, because at this point I was like, okay, he does have the Imperial, he's got his own Imperial, but if he decides to crash, I'm okay with that. that because I think he's in a worse position than I'm in right now. And then I'm going to play the Argomon level 2 or level 3 after that for 2 cost. And at this point, I'm like kind of running low on cards in my hand, which is a little bit unfortunate. So I'm just going to end the turn off by playing Ken for 4. So now I've got double Ken. So if my Imperialdramon does survive, or if if he swings with something small, I can kill it and gain 2 memory off of every single interaction. So Imperialdramon got both dragon modes on the field, so both of them super strong. He is actually just going to trade Imperialdramons and crash into mine in order to clear the field because he is down to 3 security, and then he is going to Digivolve into his blocker Woodmon there for a 2 cost. I do have 4 Digimon on field, and he's got the 1 blocker, and then to round things off, he is just going to play the Palmon, which allows him to reveal the top 3, and then add a level 4 Digimon amongst those. Doesn't actually have to be green, which is pretty cool, but he doesn't get the effect resolved, unfortunately. We've seen Imperialdramon and a couple of rookies. So the Palmon kind of fizzled there, and I'm going to start my turn with 3 memory, and then make my guys active. And wouldn't you know, I drew the absolute best card I could have drawn in this situation. That is that's the card I was talking about. That is Giga Blaster, so that is basically a flower cannon on steroids. It is a 3 cost, however, I am playing multiple Kens in this deck, so typically you're more than likely going to have 3 memory at the start of your turn. And then not only that, but just the possibility that you can potentially rest up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon is pretty sweet, especially comboing off with Imperialdramon. So I'm just actually going to end up playing that. I could just end up playing that, rest his blocker, and then attack for game. Now that is a little bit risky, especially because he's playing a green deck, so he could be playing Flower Cannon. I don't think he is, so that's why I decided to go for it. But you could argue that the better call would have been just to wait instead of rushing him with the remainder of my field, but it ended up working out, and I ended up attacking with Argomon for game. So then game 2, I'm actually going to start this time, and I'm going to start by Digivolving my Goblymon, and fortunately I was able to draw into the Stingmon there. There is the 1 copy of Argomon level 5, and with that and Imperialdramon in my hand, I have a route that will take me straight up to level 6, as well as the Giga Blaster, so if given enough memory, I'll be able to rest something and then just attack over it with the Imperialdramon. So my opponent, unfortunately, breaking a little bit. He's going to hard play the Woodmon for a 5 cost, leaving me with 4 to start my turn. And I think here I was debating whether I want to actually use Argomon's effect to make it a 0 cost and then go Imperialdramon for 5, leaving my opponent with 1, or going straight into Argomon for 3 and then maybe HPDing for 0, or just Digivolving the Imperialdramon normally. I decided to just go ahead and pay the 3 memory for the Argomon, and I was rewarded by just drawing the Argomon level 3 there. Now, if I had actually used its effect, I would have had, a little bit more memory, and I would have been able to probably do something, but at the time, without having the rookie in my hand, I wasn't too sure of what was going to happen. So I did ended up drawing that, and now I have the perfect setup for an HPD play. Unfortunately, still 1 memory, so I can't rest his blocker. He actually Digivolved into another blocker, so you went ahead and went into the Cherrymon. Cherrymon's an interesting card, I think a little bit underplayed just because it's awkward. It's a little bit awkward. It is a level 5 blocker, still a 2 to Digivolve, so it's pretty cheap in that regard. But yeah, level 5 blocker is just a little bit weird. Like, for black I could kind of understand, but for green it kind of doesn't make too much sense. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and go into Imperialdramon Dragon mode there. You could argue the better play would have been for the Mega Gargomon there for 4, or I guess still for 0 if I want to use HPD. And then rest his Cherrymon and then hit for 2 security. A couple reasons why I did that. For one, I know he's playing an Imperialdramon deck, so I didn't want to go ahead and risk the 11. I guess my Imperialdramon would die anyways if I hit an Imperialdramon in security. Either way, I didn't want to do that. And I also wanted to have the ability to rest him and then, get the Imperialdramon effect off by unsuspending him, hit for piercing twice, as opposed to just having the Mega Gargamon stall for a turn and then, not get rid of his Digimon later on. Especially because he could have just gone Imperialdramon over the Cherrymon and then it'd be 12,000. I wouldn't be able to kill it. Anyway, so he's going to go Bancho Stingmon again. I think he is playing, a couple of copies of this guy. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Goblymon for 2, and at that point I was debating on what I should do, and guys, my hand is so bad right now. I think I just was like, you know what, let me just pass, because anything else I do, I could just waste the Giga Blaster, but anything else I do, literally I couldn't, because everything is a 12 or 13 play cost. So I just ended up passing with 3 pretty decent Digimon. I'm hold 2 Digimon and a little Goblymon, and then I've got the Argomon in the back. I think I'm feeling pretty okay, so my opponent is going to end up just Digivolving into the Gargomon there for 1, using the Blossomon's Digisorption effect to make it a 0 cost by suspending it. And then my opponent is just going to go straight into Imperialdramon for a 5 cost, unsuspending his Blossomon, which is super sweet because now he gets around my Imperialdramon, who is 12,000, but I do have the Minomon, which will make him 13,000 in case I do decide to attack anything. Now, he does have the Bancho to kind of check my Imperialdramon, so if I attack and leave it in suspended position, then he can just attack over me, hit me for 3 security. So I was debating on kind of baiting that out. So so before I get into that, first I'm going to activate Giga Blaster, and I'm going to suspend the Imperialdramon because I don't want to have to deal with that. That card is a problem. I'm going to go ahead and attack with a 13,000 DP, and then I'm going to gain 1 memory from the Stingmon because I did actually kill something. Unfortunately, won't be able to proc the Argomon level 5 effect. Now, I'm going to attack again into security because I do actually just have enough Digimon for game. But I was severely debating on whether I should, rest the Bancho Stingmon, or, which way I want to go about it, or maybe potentially leave my Imperialdramon suspended and then, make him attack with Bancho Stingmon. I could block, I'd still lose 3 security, but then I could kill it the next turn. I thought this ended up being the correct course of action. But anyways, guys, that is going to be the game. Let me know if you guys did enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.